Well, Christian, good to see you, and I'm glad you're back at work. Are you feeling better?
The answer is yes. It was a tough 24 hours that I had to go through. But yeah, finally feeling better, way better than before. That one day, it was a tough one to take, especially because I couldn't be at the game with the boys. But yeah, it's something that you need to go through, and health comes first over everything else.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I don't know how poorly you were, but were you able to take in the match?
Yeah, I was able to watch the game. In all fairness, I was not feeling myself, even though I was on a couple of painkillers, but they probably played their part as well. Otherwise, it would be tough to watch the game. Not because of the game itself, but because I was just in a lot of pain on that day. So that helped, and it also helped that I was able to watch the game.
And how was that? It must have been so frustrating for you to not be there and to have to watch it from afar. Were you able to have any contact with Mark and the coaches?
Yeah, I was in contact with them at halftime. We addressed a couple of things. It was interesting to see that you see quite a few more things on TV, also with the replays that they have. That with the speed of the game and with the action on the sideline, you don't necessarily see all the time. But yeah, we were in constant contact. I tried to text him during the second half. In all fairness, they didn't look at their phone. Good for them. It's the right thing to do. But I tried to give my input as much as I could.
Yeah, and what did you make of? They're two separate things, aren't they? I'm sure from your perspective, a performance and a result. The result disappointing, obviously. But what about the performance?
Yeah, it's just disappointing how it came about, right? Also, we are talking about this for the longest time that we need to be better in both boxes, and I think before they scored the first goal, we could have scored once or twice, and then the game could. I hate those words, to be honest. Could have gone probably a different direction, but we were not good enough in finishing the chances that presented themselves. Of course, they're a good team. They're a really good side. They're probably one of the better sides we played this year so far. They were very composed on the ball, made a lot of right decisions, barely lost the ball, and obviously created quite a few chances. But again, that's a part of the game, and a part of the game is defending. And I think my team did really well over a big stretch of the game. The chances that they had were kind of half chances or shots from outside the box. So I was really pleased with the defensive performance, and if we can add this extra element in terms of maybe going up 1-0, we probably sit here talking a completely different story.
I remember speaking to you, or certainly hearing from you before this, what has been a really challenging block of games against the teams at the top. That's over now. I don't know whether you, as a coach in your coaching team, whether you prepare for games in blocks. Do you feel like you've had a difficult block out of the way and maybe onto a next one? I don't know.
Well, yes and no, but to be honest, if you give away games overall, if you say we might not get something from it, that's the wrong attitude to go to approach a game. I think the way we've played over that stretch of 5 games was very competitive. I didn't feel that we were misplaced in any of the games. I think in every game, was it Milton Keynes, where we could have equalized just before the end? Was it Swin, where we might, if we get a call in our favor, could have gone a different direction as well? Was home at Grimsby as well, where before they had the penalty, we had a penalty, we had good chances. So I didn't think that we were misplaced or outplayed in any of the games. I think we played our fair part. I think we could have gone away from every game with something. Unfortunately, individual errors didn't help us, and conceding twice now in 2 games after those 2 games quickly back to back, that obviously hurts us as well, and that's when you create the momentum. And maybe if you can keep it at 1-0 for an extended period of time towards the end, you get a set piece, you get something away from it, and those second goals obviously hurt us.
Yeah, and I think that the 14 games, is it? You played 32 or something. I think my maths tells me there are 14 games remaining. Fleetwood away this weekend. I'm sure you're aware of the teams around you. I mean, for instance, I noticed Shrewsbury this week won again. They've won 5 games on the trot, which has taken them clear. I mean, they were one of your main rivals, weren't they, a few weeks ago. Is that something that you can say to the players? Look, they've done it. Why can't we?
Yeah, but we know that. Right, we know that it's the league can change very quickly from one week to the other. Definitely, a good run of 2-3 games, and the table looks completely differently. And it's also important for us to have this, to have this lifeline, to be in a position where we also, based on the games that we played so far, we still have it in our own hands. That was always there. That didn't change from weeks ago. Teams around us drop points. Teams around us suddenly going to run, so why should we not be able to do it as well? I think, I think we have shown that football-wise, we can compete against anybody. I think that, especially the game against Salford, showed that the boys they really care about what's happening with the club. They put on a fight, so we showed that we can fight. And I expect something similar to Salford now in Fleetwood, where obviously the conditions are. The pitch conditions are one thing, right? But it's, again, you have to take it the way it is and put up a fight and run for your life. And every game is a cup game for us with them.
Yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it? With only so many games. I mean, the performances. It doesn't really matter, does it? As the games tick down, it's points that you need.
Absolutely, and we are very much aware of that.
I think your.
I mean, the other thing I would say is, yes, points are needed, right? But if I would work with a team right now that actually walks away without any faith in themselves, without any belief that they can make something happen, that would be tough, right? And also without having the possibilities to even create chances, I think that we don't struggle with that. Yes, we had 1 or 2 games where we didn't have a big amount of chances, but we create chances that should be goals, right? And as long as we have this going, there's a lot of belief in the team, and if it was the other way around, then you could be really concerned.
Yeah, it's kind of a month now, isn't it, since you brought the new players in, and I think earlier in the season, I bet it's really annoying when people throw your own words back at you, but I think you said it takes 5 or 6 weeks for new habits to kick in, and you've had a lot of the new players in for that period now. Do you think that we're going to see an improvement because the squad that you have put together now has been together?
Well,
for a time?
I think improvement. At least I've seen a lot of improvement already, where we actually play real good football, and I understand that performances are not necessarily equaling results, right? But if we don't perform, we don't give ourselves a chance to even get anything, right? And performance can be in different ways. I think you saw against Cambridge again, for me, one of the better teams in the league. You saw a really resilient performance where Cambridge basically they changed how they build out. They suddenly had 3 wide defenders, which they usually don't do, right? And I think that's a form of respect as well. How well the team is playing, how well they are setting themselves up defensively. You saw in certain games over bigger stretches that we can actually play really good football as well, where we combine well. We combine from the back into the final third, where we then just miss, the being a little bit more ruthless in front of the goal, and those couple of chances that we have that present themselves to also take them, right? So I've seen a lot of improvement since over the last couple of weeks, and some of the new players, they got more time, some not so much, but whoever steps on the field, whoever is there, tries to give everything for the club.
And you mentioned the pitch this weekend, but what else? What other challenges will Fleetwood pose? What are you expecting?
Well, coming over the flanks, right? Delivering balls into the box, being, based on the pitch as well, being probably more direct than what they would usually like to play as well. So it's going to be again a good challenge for us, a challenge that we're definitely up for. The boys have shown that a week ago, right, in Salford, and it could be in our favor as well, right? I think in terms of players that we have very good technical players that can also deal with the ball on those conditions, but we also have players that really run hard, that really fight for each ball, and getting the mix right, making sure we're on the front foot and chasing down every ball, take every chance that presents itself. That was the key in Salford.
Well, good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mark,
No questions from you today?
Oh, you don't want me to ask?
Go on.
No, it's all right.
He's got some.
Yeah.
He's done his prep. Go on, Luke.
You obviously played Fleetwood back in December. What progress are you expecting to see from your team this time around?
Well, I expect it to be a very different game. I was very pleased especially with the first half against Fleetwood, where we actually dominated ball, we dominated possession, we dominated the opposition, and it's not to be expected this time around. Again, going back to the conditions, I mean, I've seen some of the recent games at home, and it doesn't look good. The pitch, the conditions of the pitch are not really there to play football, but nevertheless, we need to show bravery. When we need to play, we need to play, and the conditions are the same for both, and then just also making the right decisions, right? It's one thing to play and to move the ball, but then when you don't feel right, when the ball gets stuck all the time, to make the decision on the pitch to turn them around and go for second balls.
And you spoke about errors earlier. How do you go about eradicating them as a manager?
Oh, that's if you would have a magic wand here right now, I'll take it off you. There are things that you just cannot coach, right? You can put things in place where you can avoid certain things, but overall, that's why the game is so interesting to all of us, because mistakes are happening, and that's then a discussion for weeks until the next game, right? If nobody makes mistakes, it would be a very boring game.
And I just wanted to ask about Baker Richardson, obviously come back into the side. How important has he been to you?
Yeah, he's a big voice in there, somebody that pulls the teammates along, that holds them accountable. Yeah, it was good to have him back, especially in Fleetwood, which is especially in Salford, which was something that suited him well. Get stuck in there, getting the first ball, skin the header, skin the second ball. So but just being a body in there that just competes, and I'm very happy to have him on board again.
And Matthew Baker's played every minute for you since the start of this calendar year. How important is he to your survival chances?
Just as important as everybody else, right? He has done really well back there. I think he has made a very big jump ever since he came back from his injury, where it took him a couple of weeks to really get fit, to really find his feet as well. But I think where he is now, he's a leader in there. He's the captain, and he's leading by example, which is very good.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You need a mic?
You spoke about CBR's performance at Salford there and the physical nature of it, and you also mentioned the pitch might not be the greatest this weekend. Do you feel it might be a similar match to the Salford game? Challenge?
Yeah, I think it will be. Listen, I don't know what their plan is, right? I can only go off recent games that they played and how they play and what their playing style is, but you can expect certain things based on what you see, right? I definitely think it's going to be a tough game for us. It's going to be a physical game, and something where that just needs to be not only our second nature, it needs to be our first nature to fight for every inch, to go after every ball, and like I said before, get stuck in, and the CBR led by example. And I think what we saw in Salford is something that everybody was really happy with, because it showed a lot of care. And then once you put in those extra yards, the hard yards, right? Once you go after every ball, chase it down, you then also get the bonuses in form of goals. And it was great to see that. Ryan's scored off a set piece goal. I think it was a shoulder. But then also for Lloydie, and that's where Lloyd is a technical player, right? But he can cope with the ball on pitches like this as well, where he showed his football qualities. And then Nathan coming on as a super choker and being just in the right position. And this is all down to effort, down to running abilities, that you are in the right positions when the ball drops for you.
Yeah, I think we saw plenty of that in the first 70 minutes, probably on Saturday as well. But something Mark said after the game was the players felt sorry for themselves after conceding that first goal. Is that something that you saw?
Feeling sorry for themselves. It's something that we have addressed and that that's unfortunately is kind of the story of the season as well, that when you go a goal down, that's when you need to push yourself even more and not put your head down, because feeling sorry for yourself is not, should not be even in the vocabulary in this business. You just need to go again. And again, you are okay, you're allowed to concede a goal in 90 minutes. I mean, that's what both teams are playing for. But that doesn't mean the game is over. And we still had about 30 minutes to go, or 25 minutes to go. So it's just about how do you react. And listen, some teams, they are down 1-0 in a Champions League final and turn it around 2-1 in extra time. Happens, right? And just have to keep going, keep believing, and push forward.
Also, I don't know whether it came across on the TV, but there was some boos after the game from the home fans. Do you feel that was unfair based on that performance?
I think so. I mean, it's always, it's always okay for fans to have their opinion, but I think they should also recognize what the boys have been through for the whole season, and what they have shown again in Salford, and those 60-65 minutes that they have probably defensively outworked a team that for me is one of the best teams in the league, with players that could easily play League One or even Championship. So they have done really well in my eyes. And is everybody okay to have an opinion? Yes, absolutely. But you should also recognize what effort the boys put in to make a team like Cambridge change their way of playing. It takes a lot of effort.
Couple more injuries, I think, on Saturday as well, when they lost Tom Davis during the first half. Have you got any fullbacks left? He's going to have to come out and available.
It's getting fairly tight with that. I mean, he has not been in training this week, so we'll, our medical team is working hard to get players fit, to keep them on the toes. We'll see. Right now, we have to work with what we have. Have to make the best out of the situation. But yeah, there was a big blow. Same with Joe Thomas, who dropped out as well. I mean, there's still cover there, right? But again, if you cannot have the depth in your roster that you need to sustain games like this, because they come thick and fast again. You're going again Tuesday, right? And it's gonna be tough. So yeah, the full focus is to get those players at least available. Starting is a big question mark, but to be available just to manage the minutes of each player as well.
I suppose that shows the value of someone like Cameron Evans, who can play various different positions.
Yeah.
You need that in your squad too.
Yeah, and we have several players that can do that. Unfortunately, some of them dropped out recently.
I haven't asked you about Lee Jenkins for a while. Is he getting close to a return?
Well, that's why I'm knocking on the door next, right there, the door next door every single day. It's been a little bit frustrating with him because it was literally a freak injury at the training. Yeah, it's one of those where you cannot really tell how long it will take. Initially, we thought it's going to be 1.5 weeks, 10 days, something like that, but it's now about twice as much time, and it's frustrating for the player, for Lee, because he wants to be out there, and it's frustrating for us as well because we need a player like him, especially in games like in Fleetwood, where with his physical presence, with his ability to win duels, heading ability is exactly a game for him. Unfortunately, he will not be available, but it's everybody else needs to step up, and they have done well already away in Salford, and it's something that they showed that they can be very resilient with.
And how about Smith and Camwa? Are they getting closer?
Smith and who?
Camwa, is he available?
Bobby. Sorry, I only know first names. I only go with first names. I think that's more personal. Yes, they are. They have been on the pitch this week. It was also good to have a full training week. So they have been out there. I think they're still a couple of days away to really be available for a game, to really be fit as well, to sustain 90 minutes. I think that's so important for me, that if you're in the team, you need to be able to play 90 minutes, because something can happen very early, as we saw on the weekend, and then you're being put in after 10 minutes, and then you need to play 80 minutes. And with the extra time that we have every single game, it's usually not 80, it's 95 right there. So a player for me has actual real value if they're available for 90 minutes to play.
And you're back on the road this weekend on a long journey.
Can't wait.
You've got a different hotel this week. Are you superstitious about those sort of things?
Which football person is superstitious?
Can't think of any.
None of them in the room, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for holding the microphone up in the absence of
No
the microphone.
problem.